Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Amazing Race Chat.
It is episode 4, social media edition.
Hashtag. Okay, hashtag.
Retweet.
Yes, so last week the racers were in Colombia.
Cartagena.
Miss Cartagena, wipe away your tears. This week...
They're going to Geneva, Switzerland.
Yay! Wait, what country is Switzerland in?
What language do you think they talk there?
Okay, so we've got a little bit of a showman's brewing here.
Bloody. That would be Blair and Brody.
Oh my gosh!
It's awkward as hell.
Because everybody knows about it. Everyone knows about it. And they're all like...
Tyler Oakley was a delight, I must say. A delight.
Yes. I hope that he is the flower girl, and I hope that Scott walks him down the aisle at the wedding.
I think that would be amazing. So everybody was on the same flight.
Yeah, so this gave Blair and Brody a chance to hang out. And
at the airport.
Yeah.
And everyone else, apparently, because everyone was like, oh my god, it's YouTube stars!
Yeah, there were some selfies.
Instagram and
Vine.
social media. Yeah.
Hey, those are social media people.
Those are social media stars of our time.
Yeah. All right, so once they got to Geneva, they had to go to this fountain with a really complicated name.
Yeah, who cares?
Whoa!
Just kidding.
That's a little
I care
harsh.
so much. Then they had to go on foot to Roar Chocolates. That's what I like. I like this.
Yeah. So they got their next clue there, and then...
They had to take a card in order.
Just kidding. They got there at night, so they had to take the card to go the next morning.
Spend a night in an underground cave.
Again,
a night with a knight. There
everyone was there.
Suits of armor there,
It was pretty cool.
And I don't know what Bloody was doing. Were they both under the covers, or were they just like...
They were just talking, okay? But where was Scott during this whole thing?
I don't know.
Daddy! I have a thing with Brody! Pesos for pesos!
Oh my god.
Daddy!
Next stop, detour. It's either workbench or bench work.
All right, let's talk about workbench first.
Oh my god, my
Y'all
husband
know,
was drooling
yeah.
over this.
Switzerland is famous for their Swiss Army knives.
You had to put together a Swiss Army knife. I think there's like 27 pieces. Only 3 teams could do it though.
Right.
And bench work was how many people can sit on the world's longest bench.
It was a long-ass bench. So they had to measure it by the width of the open newspaper. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about workbench first.
All right, well...
We got 3 teams here in this one.
Zach and Rachel, Tyler and Corey, and Blair and Daddy. My daddy's a doctor!
His surgeon hands are great for this!
All I have to do is shut up because he needs to concentrate.
I think she was doing the whole, like, you know, when they're like, scalpel, donut, that grippy thing.
Daddy, look, these washers are smaller. I'm helping, right?
Yeah. Well, Zach and Rachel got it wrong in their first attempt. They forgot one of the tiny blades.
How do you forget the tiny blade? I mean, don't you have leftover parts?
Yeah, did they have like the exact number of parts, or were there like tricks?
No, I think they had the
there?
exact number of parts in that little kit that they had.
Maybe they just set it aside and forgot about it.
Maybe. Well, all in all, the knife was definitely easier than the bench, I think.
Well, I think it depends on your skill set.
Yeah. If your daddy's got surgeon hands, then I guess it was probably a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, look at Tyler and Corey. They've done all these like detail-oriented challenges, and they've done really well in those. So for them, I would say yes. For somebody like, not gonna name names, maybe not the best choice.
No.
Not any of the ones that picked it. I mean other people.
Yeah. All right, so the bench one, people were having a lot of trouble.
I think the main problem, because it seemed like most people were going way over, was just that they were sitting too close together.
Or too far apart.
Mostly too close, though, because they were going over.
One of the models guessed like 163 or something like that.
But also they guessed 240. Ah! So the answer was actually a range. It could be anywhere between 190 and 197.
Depending on how big your butt was, I guess. Because it was like, sit down and,
Yeah. So nobody got it on the first try.
No.
But the Frisbee guys got it right eventually, and then they told, like, almost everyone, the answer.
The models, I don't know whether they didn't tell them on purpose or whether they just didn't hear.
Maybe they just weren't, like, in the area at the time. Because you couldn't just, like, keep guessing.
Yeah.
So even if you knew the answer, you had to, like, go back and do it again.
Dana was kind of a bitch again. I'm sorry. She was like, oh, just sit on their chessboard.
Matt, sit on the chessboard!
That was not cool.
She knocked over the chess piece.
I would have been so pissed. A lot of the people on the benches were understanding, but a lot were rightly pissed.
I wish we had a tally of how many times we heard the phrase, pardonnez-moi, this week. Because I feel like it was quite a bit.
Merci beaucoup. All right, so the models, it took them 3 times, and they were in dead last after that. So next stop, broken chair.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a roadblock at the United Nations.
Yeah, that broken chair sitting across from the United Nations.
Who's having a banner day?
Well, only one person from each team was allowed to have a banner day.
Yeah. You had to identify the 10 flags from the founding members.
Yeah, so they told you what they were.
Right.
So then people were freaking out like, oh, I don't know what these flags look like. Like, I'm going to start guessing.
Hello. The board is a key.
Finally,
The board is a key.
Corey was the first to realize this. So he's like, if
How
I
could
count
you
this
not
many.
realize this?
I thought, I realized that immediately. And I was
Me
like,
too.
guys.
Me too. The board is a key.
I don't know. But a couple of them still tried to guess on a few, like Cole and Bernie. Cole has played a lot of FIFA.
He knew a lot of the flags.
He knows some flags.
Yeah. Not all of them, though. All right, so Matt and Corey ended up teaming up.
Yeah, most of the teams decided that they were going to work together with other people, whatever.
It was kind of difficult even if you did team up and even if you did know where the flags were because a lot of the flags are similar.
Yeah,
no, but a lot of the flags are similar.
Too, yeah.
So Corey and Matt got it wrong on the first try, so that set them back a little bit, but there was a little girls' alliance going on there too with Blair and Rachel and one of the Clevers. I don't know.
I think it was
which
Erin.
one. Yeah. The models, however,
they showed up last.
All alone.
And then no one was helping them, and she was just like, I can't believe no one's helping me. Ah!
And it seemed like on the way to the pit stop, all of the people were on the same train, and the models could have gotten on that train because they all caught up.
They were right there.
They were walking so
They were
slow.
like, I think that train's still there.
If I was in last place, I'd be running my ass off.
This is not like that game you play in the subway when you're like, I am not running to the subway. I am not that type of person. I'll just wait the 10 minutes or whatever for the next one. No!
You don't do that. This is the amazing
You run!
race, not the amazing saunter. It's the amazing race.
Yeah, so the pit stop was at
Chamonix, France.
I'll let you take that.
They had to take a train there, and
like we said, all the teams ended up on the same train in the end because there were a couple of connections.
it was
except for the models.
It was a foot race to the end because everybody was on the same train except for the models, just like she said. And Blair was freaking the freak out before the models missed the train. She was like,
"Everybody get down!"
"Hi, I don't know if Daddy and I can make it in a foot race. I just don't know.
Can everyone hide right now?" They were all just like, she was crawling on the ground.
Oh my God, that was pathetic. So, Brody and Kurt came in first, and they won $3,000 each.
Oh damn!
I guess that was American, not Swiss. And then Brittany and Jessica, they were sauntering around and missed the train, and they came in last, and they were eliminated.
Everybody else hit that mat right after.
They totally
boop, 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 boop.
could have made the train.
They could have.
They have nobody to blame but themselves.
All right, next time.
They're going to the Alps.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a little bit of a paragliding disaster.
That looks scary a little bit.
I wouldn't do that.
That looked a little scary.
So guys, let us know what you thought about this episode in the comments. And until next time,
Much love.
Edit.